thank you for taking time out to join this webinar series for ManageEngine 2021. Today we have a schedule of training for our resellers, and our focus is on a help desk solution. So we ensure that you're going to benefit more in today's webinar. So we will start by actually introducing ourselves. I am Henry, Senior Channel Sales Manager for Toronto IT. I have my colleague here, Lawrence, is going to be the one handling the training for today. So Lawrence, can you just, okay, good morning. Okay, so let's just proceed for today's webinar. So we welcome you once again for this webinar. I want to ensure that everybody is set for this webinar, and also why Lawrence is on this this webinar. I want you to use your chat button to ask questions. You have a Q&A session. Also use that button to ask your question, and we ensure that all our questions, your questions are actually treated today. And also, we are going to send the link and also the slides to you at the end of the webinar. So let me proceed by letting you know what we, Toronto IT, do. Toronto IT is an IT servicing company and a fast-growing technological innovation company with services ranging from IT support, IT infrastructure, and IoT. Then ManageEngine is an international software company that does all sorts of IT management solution, including IT service management, IT operation, and IT security management. So ManageEngine is the OEM, while Toronto IT is the sole distributor in Nigeria. So we have been partnered with, we've been partnering together for over 6 years, and that has brought to the introduction of the reseller network. So our objective is to have a reseller reselling our product all over the country. So we have over 75 resellers in Nigeria, and they are spread across the country. We have in the northern part, we have in the southern part, we have in Lagos. Also, we are looking at building a robust network in this region, though, because the Lagos region is actually robust. So we're looking at building our reseller network in the northern part. So we also throw this open for partners that are interested, that has a good clientele in the northern region and also in the eastern part of Nigeria. You can actually reach out to me and see, let's have discussion. We want exclusive partners in this region too. Okay, so like I said earlier, Toronto IT is an IT infrastructure company. So we have over 250 highly trained engineers providing professional IT services in enterprise company, and we are actually spread across the country. Like I said earlier on, we have present in 36 states across Nigeria. Our SLA is about 99%, so that implies that we don't have downtime when it comes to IT support contract. Our clientele, we have about 24 blue chip companies. So, and we are looking at adding more to this. We have companies that we can actually boast that, okay, we've done business with when it comes to ManageEngine and auto IT support. And these are blue chip company in Nigeria currently. And also we have impressive customer base, which is about 74% of the commercial bank in Nigeria. So this is just like an overview of our client base. It's just an overview of our client base. So we have present in this organization. So that does not mean that as a reseller, you will not want to sell to these companies. We actually sold to this company. Does not mean that you cannot sell. Some of these engagement has to be with some ManageEngine solutions that And we know we have over 90 suite of solution of ManageEngine that can be sold to a client. So you have opportunity. You also have opportunity of sharing and selling to this list of clients that just display on the slide here. So, and also we have present in the banking industry, the government, and also the manufacturing industry. So now let's go to the business of today. So we are in the reseller space. We have actually projected a target for ourselves, a vision 2021. Our target is actually to sell, to generate a revenue of about $1 billion naira in 2021. So, and this can be possible if we have collaboration with our partners. So that's why we are engaging in this training to ensure that all our partners are equipped. We give them all the necessary requirements that is needed to sell. So we want to let you understand that we are behind you, also with you. Anytime you want to engage your clients, reach out to us so that we can be able to work together and meet this set target. So our objective is to ensure that by the end of this year, we generate 1 billion naira in the reseller space, and we are almost close to that. And we believe that by the end of this year, we should be able to meet and surpass that set target. So also we have the objective of pushing this solution in white elephant organization. What I mean by white elephant organization are those organizations that can be able to budget at least minimum of 20 million to get this solution. We have a couple of organizations that have bought ManageEngine solution worth over 120 million. So this is an opportunity for you to push this solution to white elephant organization. And moreover, the engagement we have today actually shows that you can sell help desk solution to almost all organizations. So let's take advantage of this set target that we have. And also know that we are right behind you and also beside you to ensure that these all targets are met. So we also have the objective of training our resellers to be able to demo at least 3 ManageEngine solutions. So we are actually doing that right now. We want to ensure that all our resellers can be able to demo this ManageEngine solution. So it's not until you request for the presence of the distributor to come and demo with your clients. So we have this objective that you, as a partner, you're supposed to know at least the 3 flagship products or 5 flagship products of ManageEngine and should be able to demo this solution. So what we have done to ensure for us to achieve this is for us to engage in back-to-back webinar, which we've been doing, and also training our resellers on how to implement and configure this solution. So like I said yesterday, we have the plan of commencing our training with our reseller on configuration and implementation. So that comes in after the end of this webinar. That will be by next month. So I want every of our partners to take advantage of this training program, so that by the time we kick off this objective of we having our partner configure and implementing this solution, you're actually going to be a part of this progress. Because by the time we've done this, most of the requests that come to us as a distributor will be routed to our partner that can implement this solution. And remember, after the training, you'll be certified by the OEM and also by the distributor to ensure that you can implement this solution. And that alone will boost your revenue by also getting more revenue from implementation, apart from just the license alone. So our objective also is to move our partners from the bronze level to a silver level. So by you engaging in the advanced training, automatically moves you to the next level of the next sub level, which is silver, and that implies that you're going to earn more revenue on each of the solution that you sell. And also, we want to ensure that by the time you've gone to this level, you also want to increase further to the gold partnership level and also the platinum partnership level. So these are the objectives we actually slated down for our partner this year. And also we want to ensure that we have good market penetration in other states in Nigeria. So we are actually at the verge of recruiting exclusive partners in other regions, just as the northern part and also the eastern part of the country. So if you have a good presence in this region, as I stated earlier, just reach out to me so that we can work together and see how we can collaborate and close this solution in other regions of the country. So I want to ensure that this objective and vision that we have for our reseller is actually clear. So if you need more clarity, you can actually reach out to me on my email channel at Untitled, or just drop a comment on the chat. So I'll be glad to answer any of those questions that you needed to get clarification on. Okay, so today we are in the business of exposing and unraveling the whole thing that has to do with IT help desk today. And the importance of this webinar is that every organization actually wants to get this solution. And every organization is actually requested to get this solution. For you to be IT compliant, for you to be an IT compliant, then it's important that you have this solution in your organization. So IT help desk is actually broken down into different solutions. We have the Service Desk Plus, we have the Service Desk Plus MSP, the Asset Explorer, and also the Support Center Plus. But because of today's webinar, we're going to focus on the Service Desk Plus, which is IT and Enterprise Service Management, and also the Support Center Plus. So these are more like a similar solution, but the difference is that one is used within the organization, and one is used to support clients. So, and I believe that I have my colleague here that's going to do justice on that today. He's one of my senior technical engineer. So he's done deployment in most of the big ship companies I just stated earlier on in this slide, in this presentation. And he's very vast when it comes to IT support, and also Service Desk Plus, and also Support Center Plus. So at this point, I want to introduce Lawrence to commence the training on Service Desk Plus and Support Center Plus. So I want you to sit back and relax, and whatsoever questions that you have, just drop it on the Q&A tab, and also you can also chat me. And also, if by the end of the session we're going to tweet every questions and all your concerns. So at this point, I want to introduce Lawrence to take over the mic for me. So Lawrence.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Henry. I believe you can hear me clearly. And good morning once again to all our resellers that are actually on this session. And we welcome you once again to this session of a webinar to take us through how we can actually sell and deliver quality solutions to our end users. So like rightly mentioned by Mr. Henry, I'll be taking us through Service Desk Plus and Support Center Plus from ManageEngine. And with that, we'll be able to understand how we can actually deliver quality products to our end users as we go. The very first one I'll be taking us through is Service Desk Plus from ManageEngine. And Service Desk Plus is actually an IT solution which aims at automating the process by which we raise tickets, and also being able to allow your organizations or the end user that you intend to sell to meet up with ITIL standard, the necessary ISO certifications that are actually out there. So in terms of you working to your end users to make them understand why they need to automate the process in which tickets are being raised, are being monitored, the life cycle of ticket management, from the beginning to the very point where tickets are closed. These are actually qualities that ISO look after for. These are qualities that IT standards also aim at equaling. So this is what ManageEngine is also bringing to the table in terms of delivery. And I know for sure by the end of this session, we are going to definitely derive satisfaction and also be able to pitch the solution to our end users. The very first key point that we actually need to know, which is also very, very important in terms of questions that are actually been raised by our end users that the various organizations have actually deployed for. They also want to know in what mode of deployment does Service X Plus come in. Many organizations have preference in terms of they want to manage their data. They want all the data that they actually provide on the application to be managed in-house. That is, they prefer to go for the on-prem. That's where they have a particular server or a VM that are actually installed within their environment. They have the database within their environment. They are able to manage all the infrastructure within their environment. That is the option of deploying the application on-prem, where it is deployed on a particular server within your environment, and you will be the one to actually manage both the physical server and the database that you actually have. So it is actually very key to actually pass the message across to the end user. Another option is the option of cloud, as it's also very important to also note that the world is now going cloud-wide in terms of embracing the option of being able to use that SaaS, that service delivery over the internet. This is actually an option that is also supported by Service X Plus, where it is deployed over the cloud and you're able to reach it over the internet anywhere, on the go. You can even have the mobile app on the go wherever you wish to reach the application from. So it is very, very important to mention this very first feature as we proceed. The next feature I would like to talk about in terms of IT management, ticket routing and the likes, and feature from Service X Plus is incident management. It is actually very key to know that in terms of managing incidents and being able to keep track of events that actually happen on a day-to-day activity within an organization, within various environments. These are actually very important that there are appropriate documentation. When did the event happen? Who resolved that particular ticket? Who raised the ticket? Where did it come from? All these are what it aims to handle whenever you're actually looking at management of incidents. Now, I'll move on to how you can actually use Service X Plus to actually deliver this goal of managing incidents from beginning to the end. The very first point, how can an incident or series of incidents be raised on the application? The application actually supports the fact that incidents can either be raised via email. That means as an organization that has been used to the format of sending emails to probably their IT team for them to resolve tickets. As we all know, this might not be very, very effective in terms of we have individuals that would spring up a new set of emails as time goes, and probably they get tired of the workload of emails that are actually involved. But with Service X Plus, you're able to raise tickets via emails, and immediately such is done, it is appended an acknowledgement mail, which is sent to the end user. That's the person that has raised the incident. And also an email is also sent to the technician who is picking up the ticket. So that established a correspondence that would be a follow-up and append every other conversation on the ticket as a conversation, rather than creating a new ticket entirely. So you're able to use the email mode to actually raise incidents on the application and effectively be able to monitor the entire life cycle of an incident from beginning to the end, till when such tickets are actually closed. The next option is being able to use telephone, in terms of the fact that you call in into the help desk or you call into the IT department, and immediately the technician receives the call, he's able to open the application, log in via the necessary credential, which is expected in terms of your login ID, your password, and also this will allow for you to document every conversation that you've had with the end user in terms of is complaining about my system or the printer in the within the flow of an organization being bad, you're able to quickly document it while this phone conversation is going on. And from there on, you're able to keep that correspondence up between you and the end user, which means that as a technician, you can actually raise tickets on behalf of various users within the organization. The next one has to do with the self-service portal, where the end users themselves are able to log on to the platform to raise incidents. This means that the application actually supports the fact that it can be integrated with the Active Directory within the organization, whereby they are able to use their configured username within the organization, and they are also able to use the password that has been assigned to them within the organization to actually access the application. And this will allow for them to raise tickets whenever at any point in time, and it would automatically be routed to the appropriate group or the appropriate individual who is meant to resolve the issue. Another very way by which ticket can also be raised is the ZI Chatbox, which allows for users to actually use the artificial intelligence capability of the application to actually raise incidents on the application. Immediately, there's a related keyword that is punched into the application, into the ZI box. It is able to detect it because it has recognized it as a related keyword and is able to use that to raise incidents. And thereafter, it's able to create it as a ticket, and moving forward is able to manage the entire life cycle of the ticket and is able to deliver top quality in terms of SLA management and the appropriate escalations where it is necessary. So moving on, we have categorization and assigning of tickets in terms of being able to assign the ticket appropriately to the unit that it is meant to go to. You are raising an hardware-related issue, for example, or you're raising a software-related issue, or entirely, let's just leave the IT section. You want to raise or you want to request for a service that is even outside of IT. You can also do that effectively with Service X Plus in terms of it will be properly routed to the appropriate unit because it supports that auto configuration to go out based on either the keywords or the category, subcategory, or the item that you've actually selected. And based on the business rules or the SLA management that are actually also being put in place. Also, the SLA in terms of the service level agreement is also being supported by the application. It is also very key, which is also one of the KPI measurements within most organizations. So with the application also at this point, I need to quickly point out the fact that we are also able to effectively do KPI measurements. You want to see how many tickets were actually delivered within a stipulated time. That's where the service level agreement actually comes in terms of was your technician able to resolve this certain number of tickets within the appropriate time? Was there a need for escalation? Was there a need for further escalation? These are what the application is able to do effectively. Then in terms of auto assigning tickets, there are organizations that would prefer a situation where once the ticket comes in, it is automatically assigned to the appropriate individual because of the set conditions that you've actually created. The application actually supports this auto assigning, and also it can also have a situation where it comes in and there is an individual that manually assigns it to the appropriate individual or group of persons that are meant to pick it up. Then we have the analysis in terms of when the ticket comes in, being able to show you the comprehensive details of the ticket. It's able to show you the who is actually requesting, who is assigned to the ticket, details in terms of the subject of the ticket, description. You can also go ahead to do attachments in terms of file attachment, picture attachments in all formats. You can also do that to give further descriptions to kind of tickets you're actually laying complaint about. Then also in terms of the which I mentioned earlier, in terms of the fact that the application actually conforms with the ITIL standard, you are also able to effectively use it to do asset management. So in this instance, you're able to, as a user that has been assigned to a particular laptop, for example, within the organization, you are able to effectively raise tickets based on the asset or laptop that has been assigned to you Once you do that, the technician from the comfort of his seat or office can effectively remote into your desktop. This is actually the capability of Service X Plus, because it's not just an help desk solution, it is also good in managing doing asset management. Then moving on, we have communicating with the end users. It's able to effectively send acknowledgement mail whenever tickets are actually raised by the end users, and we have also some pre-configured reply templates, so you can easily configure a quick go-to reply template that you actually want to send out to your end users. Then we have the chat option as well. The application has a chat option. Whenever the end user comes onto the application, logs onto the application, they can easily chat with technicians that are actually on the system. It will show you the option of technicians that are actually online, or list of technicians that are actually available within the system. So you're able to chat with technicians directly and get response to issues that you want. Immediately, the technicians respond to your ticket and they are done. It would prompt the technician to actually raise such chat as a ticket. So this is actually an effective way by which you can also have conversations that come in as chats to be recorded as recorded as tickets on the platform. Then we now have the resolutions to incidents. After tickets have been resolved, there has been resolutions that have been provided to such tickets. There should be a database, there should be a knowledge base where that can serve as a quick go-to for technicians. This is actually available on the platform where users can actually do a quick go-to to get solutions that has been provided to incidents before now, or technicians that are just joining the organization, for example, can go there to see how the new organization they are joining resolve issues that are either relating to network or specific brand of laptops. How do they resolve this? This, in terms of service delivery, allows the technician to be effective in time management. So they can effectively manage their time. At the time they will spend looking or cracking their head, looking for solution to particular incidents that has actually been raised, they can quickly do a quick go-to to the solution base to get resolutions that has been provided before now, and use that to resolve issues that has been raised. Then also, in terms of management of time, it also allows the end user, now the requester, to also do what we call effective time management, in terms of whenever they punch in related keywords that have been provided in the solution base, they don't need to raise the incident, because it's going to do a pop-up of the referrer. So once it does that referrer, it's going to advise them to either use the link or go ahead to raise the ticket. Once a user sees, oh, there's actually a resolution to this issue or related issue that I've raised before, or that has been raised before, they can do a quick check on that and apply such resolution that has been provided before now. Then also, it also supports approval. These solutions are not just dumped on the application. They go through approval that are actually necessary. So you can actually configure approval before those solutions are actually published to everybody to actually see on the application. Then we have the entire end of the ticket itself, when tickets are being considered to be closed. Now, before the ticket can be closed, it can either be done manually, where the technician appends the closure rule, or the application appends the closure rule, in terms of after you must have configured a certain number of days. If a ticket has been resolved by a technician and is not closed by the end user, the application can actually go ahead to close it within the stipulated day or stipulated time, or the technician himself or herself actually go ahead to close such ticket. Then we now have the user acknowledgement and the survey. The application also has the capability to send out surveys to the end users to see how the technicians are actually attended to them. So this can also be effective to the organization to measure the service delivery of their helpdesk unit. So moving on to another feature of the application is the problem management, as is very key also. After a disruption has happened, this disruption is now being continuous. There's a need for us to now have a very, very holistic look into what the issue is. There's a need to assign it to a technician to find the root cause and develop analysis and also develop a solution to such problem. So the application is able to escalate incidents into problems. So you can effectively do a proper drill down into what the issues is or what the issues are. Then you can also attach as many as possible numbers of incidents to the problem. So going on to quickly explain what the workflow for problem management looks like. You can either raise it as a new problem and thereafter associate or link related incidents to it, because problem is as a result of series of incidents that are actually related. So you can go ahead to raise a new incident, then you link all the incidents that are actually related. Then thereafter, as an individual who is responsible for handling such a ticket can go further to do a root cause analysis, find what the issue is, then prefer a permanent fix. Then if there's a need for you to actually escalate to a change or escalate it into a project, with the application, you are able to effectively do that because, like I mentioned earlier, it's actually an IT standard application which follows the IT process flow from incident management to problem management to change management and so on and so forth. So from problem management, you can easily raise a change management and relate or link all the necessary problem to the change or to the project under the project management module of the application. And then you can go ahead to close such problem after it has been effectively resolved, and either you allow it to automatically close all associated incidents, or you close them from the incident management end. So if they are still open as incidents under the incident management, once the problem that they are associated to is being closed, the incidents that are also associated will be closed as well. So I'll move on to the next feature, which is change management, as is very, very key to majority of the organizations to also embark on various types of changes. They don't just go over changes overnight. There are processes, there are approvals that are actually needed to be put in place. With Service Desk Plus, you are able to effectively manage the change process within an organization. You're able to move away from the all days of having to carry PayPal all around or sending mail all around within the organizations. And at some point, as we know or have an idea of, there are big organizations, big individuals that they barely see activities within their mails or be able to do necessary follow-ups that are actually necessary, or might forget some certain things along the line. But with the change management, because every user within the organization is onboarded and you are being able to effectively log on to the application, access the change that are actually associated to you, you can effectively give approvals on the application from a single console, also reject such application. So with change management of Service Desk Plus, you are able to effectively manage all types of change in terms of either a minor change, a major change, a standard change, or a normal change, depending on the kind of organization that it is. They manages and they don't actually require too much approvals, or they don't require the change advisory board to be involved. They can effectively do that with the application. You can configure a minor change and also effectively configure the appropriate workflow to that. Same also, can you configure a major change that you can put in a major change in place and effectively put in the expected workflow. What I mean by the workflow in terms of who would approve, from what point should it move to another point. So you can effectively use the application to actually do that. So you raise a new change, either from the end users or the appropriate team. For example, some organizations that actually have units that are actually responsible for carrying out different changes within the organization, they can actually raise the change itself, and if possible, associate the incident or problem that actually necessitated this change. You can effectively do that with the application. Then it moves through the different stages that are actually involved within the change process. The change request form is filled, is submitted, it goes to the appropriate person who is meant to look at the necessary documentations that are needed to be in place, the informations that are needed to be supplied. All these are checked, and then if approvals are needed to be given, they are given. If there's a need for more information, you append it, and it goes back to the requester who has raised the change request. Then it moves on to planning, where the necessary impact analysis, the root cause plan, the rollout plan, the backup plan, the checklist that needs to be checked. All these are looked into, and after this has been looked at by the appropriate individual, he or she either approves or rejects. If there are some missing gaps, he approves or rejects. Then he go back to the next stage or moves on, depending on the comment that he has appended. Then it moves on to the approval stage where the CAB actually meets in. Then at this point, you can actually configure or put in place as many as possible individuals to be your change advisory board. For organizations or big organizations, they have up to 3, 4, 5, 6 members of change advisory board, and they are all operating from different offices, either outside of the organization. Plus, also the fact that looking at the new wave of mode of working these days, which is working from home, it is also possible to effectively manage all your members of staffs or the decision makers to be able to append their own approvals within the change workflow, which means that if you have about 4 or 5 change advisory board members, they will all get the appropriate notification. And either you want all of them to either approve or you want some of them, you can actually put this in place. So for example, if you say you want all the 5 must approve before it moves on, definitely that can be put in place. Or you have a certain percentage of those members of staff to approve, or you want just one to approve, you can also put that in place. Then moving on, we have the announcement and notification. The application actually allows for notifications to actually be pushed out, not just the change management module, but for every module of the application, notifications can actually be pushed out. Then we have the implementation where the change implementer actually comes in. After he or she has gotten the approval, then he moves ahead to carry out the change implementation. Then on to the next stage, which is the post-implementation review. After the implementation has been done, the necessary implementation done. For example, where a case of a deployment was carried out, there's a need for database backup or a rollover plan to be put in place. All these things, where they actually put in place, this is where those reviews actually come in place. So effectively, you're able to do that from a single interface of the change management workflow before the change can actually be considered to be closed. So moving on, we have the project management module, which is also a very, very key feature of ServiceX Plus. You are able to effectively use ServiceX Plus to manage projects from start to finish in terms of creating milestones, creating different tasks within the project itself. You can also import ongoing projects using the MX project format to effectively manage the entire life cycle of a project. And also the fact that the application is an IT standard solution, which aims at migrating all the various stages of IT from incident. You can escalate it to project, from incidents, to problem, from problem to change, from change. You can also, if there is a need for a project to be created from there, you can easily migrate it to project as well. Then you can configure the different project types that you actually want to put in place or you have within your organization. You can also use that to kickstart a new project entirely and effectively manage it. Then you can assign different project roles to every individuals that are actually involved in the project entire life cycle. So, for example, is he a project manager? Is he just a project member? Or is he just an individual that has been assigned a particular task within the project itself? So these are actually what you can effectively manage with the project management module of the application. Then moving on, we can use the project management module to create milestones and tasks which are also subsets of the entire project. As the milestone is a subset of the project, tasks are also subsets of the milestone itself. So you can break it down into tasks, assign different tasks to various individuals to carry them along. As long as they have been assigned to tasks, they will be prompted with a notification, and it will also appear on their dashboard as tasks that are pending on them to effectively close in order to expedite action on the project itself. So by closing the task, it's going to automatically reflect on the entire milestone, and by default, it's also going to reflect on the entire project management itself. Then you can also add and manage resources, which means you can add different individuals on a particular project who are playing different roles within the project itself. Then we can use the Gantt chart to also monitor the progress of the project itself. How far have we gone? How well are we able to meet up, or are we going to be able to meet up with the expected closure dates? And effectively, who that are meant to participate, how far is their contribution to the project itself? So with that, you can effectively manage the entire project from beginning. Then also along hello, can you hear me, please? Mr. Henry, kindly confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now. You can go ahead.
Thank
I
you.
think it's the
Apologies
technical
for the break. Yeah. So I'm going to continue from service request management, which is also a very key feature of Service Desk Plus in terms of service delivery to your end users. The service request management of Service Desk Plus allows for you to actually effectively deliver services to your end users in terms of the various list of services that either the IT department, the HR unit, the communications department, the PR department within your organization actually needs to deliver to the various users. This can be effectively managed from the application. So with the application, you can create a list of service catalog that you actually have within the organization. Like I mentioned earlier, either services that are related to the HR, that are related to the IT department, that are related to the procurement department. You can create a list of this service catalog and associate all the related services to them. For example, for the IT unit, there's a need for them to supply laptops to a new staff member that's just joined, or the HR unit actually needs to provide the necessary documentation to a staff or a member of staff within the organization. You can actually create this list of services on the Service Desk Plus, and they will go there and request for these services. What it means is that if there's a need for approval, they need to go through approval. You can easily configure the approvals that are actually needed and to pass through the necessary channel. And once they are approved, these are actually delivered. It also allows for you to also append service level agreement. Be able to say, oh, this services was actually delivered within the stipulated time, or it wasn't delivered within the stipulated time. So this can effectively manage the entire life cycle of service delivery to the end users. You can also configure the service delivery to be available on the portal of your end users in terms of what they actually get to see on their own screen. Whenever they log onto the platform, they're able to see the list of services that are actually available or associated to the various units within the organization. And once service level agreement is actually applied, you are also able, as an organization or as a unit that is meant to deliver such services, you know you are bound by the service level agreement to actually deliver such list of services within the stipulated time. So once you are not able to do that, the application has what we call escalation. So it can easily escalate that to the appropriate or the individual that are meant to receive the expected escalation. So also you can be able to send approvals, that you can send out approval notifications to whom is meant to get approval. For example, a member of staff needs to request for a service from the HR unit. However, it needs to go through the head of his own unit before such actually goes out to the HR to deliver such service. You can actually have that in place with Service Explorers before the service request is actually being considered to be closed. And also, you can configure as many as possible levels of approval within a service request management. Moving on, we have knowledge-based management. That's knowledge management of the solution, which allows for it to upload series of solutions or resolutions that have actually been made available by a technician or a group of technicians that has gone through approval. This also has to be noted because it has to be approved and appended that, oh, this is actually our standard within the organization. So this is also a feature that is available on Service Explorers. You're able to create these knowledge-based articles in terms of text format, images, and attachments. It goes through the necessary approvals where it is needed before it's published to the end users. Also, you're able to organize these topics under related keywords or topics within the application itself. For example, we want to arrange it in terms of hardware, software. What are those issues that are related to hardware? What are those issues that are related to software? You're able to effectively manage that. And you can also use keywords to actually search for these solutions. As end users that is about to raise a new incident, once they punch a related keyword in the subject space of request they are about to raise, it prompts them to show that you already have a related knowledge base that has been provided to this before now. Would you like to check it out? Then you click on the referrer and get the resolution that has been provided before now, and either apply it or you go ahead if it's not related to raise the particular ticket you wish to raise. Moving on, we have another very important feature of the application also, which is asset management. I would quickly like to point out at this point in time, based on what my colleague, Mr. Henry, mentioned earlier, the fact that the application can do asset management. We also have an entire solution called Asset Explorer, which is a standalone that can effectively do asset and inventory management as well. So I need to also point that out. It also falls under ITSM, but it can also be a module on Service Explorers. So I need to quickly point that out at this point. So with asset management, you're able to do an inventory management of both IT assets. When I mean IT assets, I mean laptops, desktop, printers, network devices such as routers, switches, and the likes. While non-IT assets involves the decks that you have within your premises, the keyboard that are actually standalone, or the basic tools that you actually use, such as tables and chairs. These are actually non-IT assets that you would like as an organization to have an inventory of. You want to know the total number. You want to know who is assigned to. With the asset management module of the application, you can effectively do that. And also being able to effectively track when they actually came into your organization. And with the application, you can calculate their depreciation value to when such assets are actually disposed. You are able to know what value it's going to be by the time you're actually disposing them off. So with the application, you are able to manage the asset management within your organization, have an inventory, then effectively know if there's a change, if it's going out for repair, if it's in use by an individual, if it's being loaned out within a particular period of time. You can effectively do that with the solution. Also, you can also carry out what we call remoting into such assets. For example, a laptop or a desktop, which has been raised as a ticket has been raised against by an end user. The technician does not necessarily need to leave his space, because as a requester, immediately you are logged on, the assets or the laptop, the desktop that is associated to you immediately appears in that ticket. So effectively, the technician can remote into such workstation and see whatever the issue is, such as if, for example, as a user, you've complained about your laptop being slow. Effectively, the technician can remote into it and see what the issue is, because of the information that are readily available after those assets has been scanned. So the information such as the hardware component, the softwares that are actually installed on it. So effectively, the IT personnel can see if you have a prohibited software on your system. They can see if you've actually used up the hardware space that you actually have within the system itself. So effectively, it can make the decision, oh, the system is slow because you've actually used up 95% of the disk allocation that you actually have. Then you can also see all the disk partitions that has actually been created on your laptop before now. Then you can also map the assets to users. This will effectively allow you to know who is in place of a particular laptop within a particular time. And also how to make that easy, or how the solution actually makes that easy, is also the fact that once a laptop or a desktop has been scanned, it effectively picks the last logon user as at when there was a successful scan. So it's able to show you who was that person that logged on to the system as at that particular point in time. Then another also key important feature the asset management module is able to do is software license management. With the application, you can see all the software that are actually installed on each and every laptop, desktop that you have within your organization. And by extension, you can also go further to actually have an inventory of all the software that you actually have within your organization. Therefore, by that, you can also list some softwares as prohibited. So by so doing, once such softwares are being installed within your organization, you can get prompts that says a prohibited software has been installed on a particular workstation within the organization. Going further, the application also has the capability to build relationships among your various assets. You want to see who is connected to what. For example, your Cisco, the router interface, for example, you want to see the various LANs that are actually on them. You want to see what is connected to them. These can actually be effectively done using the CMDB module of the application to actually establish different connectivities, relationships among your various CIs. So going on to further explain on the asset management module, because this is actually very key, because like I mentioned, it can also be a standalone entirely as a solution on its own and as a module of ServiceX does. This actually is software, it's an asset management tool which allows for you to actually gain over the control of all your assets within the organization. It's able to discover all the assets using agents to actually scan the various assets that you actually have, so those that are IT and IP enabled, I mean. Then you can also do a window scan of your domain. You can actually do a domain scan to actually see the devices that are within your domain, or do a network scan to capture a particular range of IPs that you actually want to onboard onto the platform. Then effectively, you can track the life cycle from the point where such asset are actually delivered to the organization to when it is assigned to a user, who it is mapped to, or what it is mapped to. For example, a server, which database is it backing up to, which engineer or within the organization or a system admin is managing such server. You can effectively establish these mappings and effectively make decisions if this particular server should go down, who and who or what will be affected, where are the various interconnectivities that are actually dependent on this server. You can effectively see that on the business view maps that you've actually established. Then based on the mapping that is also established, you can see all those various CI dependencies that are actually within those various assets within the organization. Moving on, as is also very key that for a solution such as this to have a reporting capability, the Service Express actually comes with the reporting tool, so which allows for you to generate reports that cut across each and every module that are actually available on the application. So from incident to change management to asset management to service request management, you can actually generate reports and export them in the format that you wish to export them as. So you have about 150 plus pre-configured reports. Then you can also customize reports that you wish to actually generate. Same also, can you get query reports that you want within the application you want to also get. So also, can you modify these reports whenever you want to filter a particular report? For example, based on a set of pre-configured reports that has been created there, you can do filters with a particular range, or let's say, for example, you want to see within the last 12 months, you want to see the last 2 months, you can actually do those further breaks down. Also, you can schedule your reports to go out at a particular duration or frequency. You can do that with the application. You can generate and share the reports in HTML, CSV, or PDF format. And you have the customizable dashboard of the application, which is actually dependent on the data that are actually available on the application. You can customize the dashboard to reflect activities that are actually going on within the application itself. Here are actually the OS or database that the application actually supports. That's the on-prem version. It supports a minimum server specification of 2012. That's on any platform that you actually wish to deploy. That's on any server that you actually wish to deploy it. On the Windows server that you wish to deploy it, it has to be a minimum of Windows 2012. Then the OS that it supports are Windows 7 as the barest minimum. And we have the list of servers that it also supports. By default, the on-prem Service Express actually comes with the Postgres SQL database. This is actually inbuilt to the application, so you can effectively use that. Also, you can decide to either migrate it to MSQL if you so wish to actually have that done within your organization. Service Express is actually very a robust tool that supports integration in terms of being able to integrate with monitoring tool, which is also a very important or a very wonderful solution for ManageEngine as well, called Op Manager. With that, you can effectively be able to get prompts such as once a monitoring device is about to go down, you want it to automatically raise as it's get on the platform. That can effectively be done. Same also, we have advanced analytical reports from either ManageEngine Analytics Plus or Zoo Analytics. What's the difference? Analytics Plus is actually the on-prem version of reporting, which is Analytics Plus, that's ManageEngine Analytics Plus, while Analytics is actually a cloud platform which integrates with the cloud Service Express. So you can effectively integrate to get further analytical reports from advanced analytics, such as Zoo Analytics and Analytics Plus. Same also, it can be integrated with Desktop Central, which was what was discussed by my colleague yesterday, to make us understand the fact that with Desktop Central, after you've managed your various desktops and mobile devices, you want to generate an incident or events that actually occur within there as a ticket on the platform. You can effectively do that with Service Express. And also to have a more collaborative capability of remoting into those various workstations from your Service Express, you can also go ahead to integrate it with Desktop Central to effectively manage that end. So what are those various editions that are actually available to us? We have the standard edition, which does majorly incident management. That's actually the key feature that's available on the standard edition of Service Express. This allows for you to do incident management, service, self-service portal, knowledge-based management, multi-site support, SLA management, help desk support, while the next one is this professional edition, which comes with help desk and asset management. So you're able to have asset management with the help desk part of the solution. So you're effectively able to manage your IT assets and software assets, such as then also you are also able to do purchase and contract management. While the apex of the edition is actually the enterprise edition, which has help desk plus ITIL plus asset and project management. So you're able to effectively manage change management, IT project management, service request, service catalog, asset management, then the CMDB, which is also available for use within the application itself. So with that, we come to the end of the Service Desk Plus part of it, where we'll move on to Support Center Plus. So with Support Center Plus, as rightly mentioned by my colleague, Mr. Henry, earlier, where he pointed out that as an organization which is customer-related issues is what they actually deal with, Support Center Plus is actually the solution which you actually need to go for. Why Service Desk Plus majorly handles requests that are actually related to internal requests within a particular organization. Support Center Plus is actually dedicated to managing your customers that are outside your organization. And for organizations that actually have different business units or different list of services that they actually render to their organization, they can effectively use Support Center Plus to actually handle that. Why Support Center Plus? You're able to implement the best practices out of the box in terms of being able to deal with every issues that are pertaining to your customers in terms of the specific issues that they have. You are effectively able to manage them as at when due, because you also have service level agreements to configure within the application itself. Now we have a simple and easy to use interface. The application is actually very easy to use, easy to navigate around, both for support technicians and for end users that actually wish to log on to the platform to actually use them as well. Then it is highly customizable to suit different business workflows. So it is very, very customizable to actually suit your kind of businesses that you actually render, kind of product you actually push out, you actually render, because it also has the capability of billing these various users based on the kind of services you actually deliver to them. Then we have its comprehensive analytics capability, and also being able to integrate with popular third-party apps such as Jira, Salesforce, and Twitter. Based on your engagement that you actually have on those platforms, Twitter, for example, you can effectively have them being raised as a ticket on the platform after you must have carried out the integrations with these third-party applications. It also supports multi-support channels, being able to get those requests from different support channels such as phone calls, chats, or via emails, depending on how you actually want to get your request from your various users. Ways by which Support Center Plus revolutionize how you actually relate with your customers and how to actually get effective and prompt good feedback from your customer, because a happy customer actually makes the organization grows bigger. This is actually what Support Center Plus aims to deliver to you at the end of the day. And this is actually very key to also pass this message across to prospective clients that are looking at reasons or why they actually need to use Support Center Plus. It actually gives the end user, that's the customers, that good experience of relating or coming back to you because of how prompt you are able to get the ticket on the platform, how prompt your responses that you provide also gets back to them through acknowledgement mail or replies that you've actually provided to tickets to them. So you're able to effectively establish and manage customer relationship with these. The various customers that you actually have within the length and breadth of reach of your organization, you are effectively able to manage them, because once you have them created as an account, for example, on the platform, there's a particular module on the application called accounts. You're able to list all your end users as accounts on the platform. So you don't mix up customer A with customer B. You don't mix up issues that are coming from, for example, you're delivering for customer A, you are delivering diesel delivery to them, and customer B, you are delivering an ISP service to them. You don't mix this up because you've clearly stated this under the account module of the application. So you're able to deliver based on the issues that they're actually raising and based on the kind of services that you're actually delivering to them. So you are effectively attending to their issues as at when due, based on the fact that you've created them as an account, you have some certain details about them, you have the contact person within the organization that you can actually speak to easily and effectively build a consistent relationship with the organization or various units that you're actually working with. Moving on, you're able to manage your customers' interaction from a single position. That's from a single screen, such as what we have on the screenshot. You're able to see all the requests from each and every of your customers, either the one you are delivering a service of ISP to, or the one you are delivering a delivery service, a diesel delivery service to. You're able to see all of them on a single console. You don't have to navigate all around the application before you see tickets that are actually coming from user A or customer A or customer B. It's in a different location entirely. From a single interface, you're able to see all the customer interaction. Once you open it, you're able to see the details. And whenever they send emails, it is appended as a conversation because immediately they are raising the first ticket. There's what we call a ticket ID that is created. This will serve as correspondence when going on with your customers, so as not to drill out of such ticket. This ticket ID will be the correspondence that will be appended and be effective in managing how you actually relate with them and not to go out of line. Then once you provide replies on such tickets, they also get the prompt notification that are actually needed for them in due course. Then we have been able to customize plan type, the build circle, the allowance, and uses for each of your customer with your unique support plan. So with Support Center Plus, you're able to create the contract billing system and the kind of allowance that are actually allocated to that. For example, for your ISP part of your organization, you have a different billing system. So you're able to configure that on the application and associate it to your various clients or accounts. This will allow for you to effectively do that with Support Center Plus, the kind of plan that is actually associated to them. So once they are raising issues, you already know the kind of contract you actually have with them. You have the billing plan they actually belong to from the application. And so you don't actually need to start consulting paper documents or emails that has been sent over a year ago. You can see that from a single console of the application to actually see the billing type, as it will also effectively allow for you to manage the various service agreements that you actually have with these various users or customers or clients that you're actually dealing with. Then this actually allows for you to boost productivity by reducing rework. In terms of being able to boost your productivity or your delivery, you're able to not repeat a particular set of issues over time. You're able to know that, oh, you've actually resolved this particular issue before, you provided resolutions to it, you've updated it, the solution base, and you don't need to actually go over it and over again to repeat the same process for a new issue that is coming up. So you can effectively use the solution module of the application as well for Support Center Plus. So you're able to see, oh, this was a process that was applied to issue A that was raised a long time ago. And this will actually allow you to be able to deliver the next set of services in appropriate time that is actually required for you to do. Then also you're able to do what we call maintenance of accurate time and entries and expenses. you want to know the number of hours that you spent supporting a particular customer, you can effectively do a time entry. You worked with this customer for a duration of 1 hour or a duration of 5 hours in a day, and your billing is actually done per hour. So you can effectively use the application to effectively that you supported this particular person for 5 hours, and your billing is on a basis of 5 hours, on a billing of per hour. You can effectively use that with the application to effectively manage that, put in the accurate time entries, and effectively calculate the expenses that has been incurred by these various customers that you actually have or that you're actually dealing with. Then moving on, you're able to stay compliant with service delivery agreements. With the application, you can actually establish various business units that you actually have within your organization, like I mentioned earlier, and also configure their specific service level agreement to them to be able to manage and know if this kind of contract that you actually have with them is for a particular hour or duration. You can effectively do that and be able to either stay compliant, and if you're actually overblowing this, you can effectively know that, oh, you've actually not effectively manage or stay within your service delivery for this particular user or for this particular client, and you can do the necessary adjustments that are actually necessary for you to avoid such repetitions going forward. Then you're able to manage your business units from a single place. With the application allows for you to create various business units that you actually have within your organization. For example, you have a large organization that delivers various forms of services, and they are actually segmented into various business units, and tickets can actually be raised against such business units as at when such tickets actually comes in. So with Support Center Plus, you can create these various business units and effectively manage them from a single point of contact. That would actually ease off the stress of having to go through two different applications or two different interfaces to actually see all the business units, see related tickets to them, and be able to respond to them. And also, you can also configure different support personnel to these various business units. For example, you create a business unit A, business unit B. You can assign appropriate number of technicians to them. For first business unit, you can assign 2-3 support technicians to that to resolve every issues that are actually related to this business unit. Same also, you can create another business unit and assign the appropriate number of support technicians to them and effectively manage it as a overall super admin on the application. You're able to see and effectively manage all the necessary business units that you've actually created. Then we have been able to stay on top of all information and statistics on all your support operations in terms of the reporting capability of the application. You're able to see all the reports that are related, how services or support were actually delivered by each and every of your support persons or SLAs that are actually involved. So it's actually also very important that the reporting is also very robust in terms of we have pre-configured reports that are actually available. You want to see the number of hours that was spent in delivering services to this particular person. You want to do KPI measurement for each and every member of your technical person. You can also effectively do that to get appropriate response to it. So what are those top customers capabilities from the application? It actually supports multi-channel in terms of being able to raise tickets from different channels. Then we have request management, knowledge-based management, that's the knowledge management part of it, service level agreements, accounts and contact management in terms of all the business organization that you actually deliver one kind of services to. You can create accounts to them and also have their contact or your contact person within those organizations onboarded on the application. Then we have the time tracking and billing. With the application, you can effectively put in place the time tracking and the appropriate billing that is expected of you to get your appropriate money, value for your money that you've actually invested in delivering such services. Then also we have the request lifecycle management from start to finish. Then self-service portal in terms of your customers themselves can also log on to the platform and raise incidents once you actually enable them for this capability. They do actually need to actually be users within your organizations. You can actually set up logins for them to be able to raise tickets and be able to attend to them appropriately. Then we have the live chat. Then we have the report and dashboard for KPI measurement and legs. Then we have the field service management. Same also, we have the integration capability of the application to also effectively use the application extensively. What are those editions that are actually available on the application? We have the standard, we have the professional, and the enterprise. On the standard, you're able to do request tracking, knowledge-based management, SLA management, help desk reports, management, account and contact management. So then on the professional, we have help desk management, customer portal management, billing contract part of it, where you are able to bill your customers for the services that you actually deliver to them. Then you have product cataloging in terms of list of products that you actually have or that you have to deliver to your end users. You can have them onboarded and attach them to every of the requests that are being raised. Then we have the Active Directory integration, which allows for your in-house users to actually log in with their domain credentials. Then we have dashboard, which is very much customizable. It also has the capability to send out surveys. Then we have the enterprise edition, which is actually the Apex editions that is actually available, which allows for you to do Apex management, customer portal management, billing contracts, product cataloging. Then another very key feature, which is the API integrations, which allows for you to do a minimal integration with websites to also raise tickets via your website. So at this point, I come to the end of the presentation while Mr. Henry will take on from there.
All right. Lawrence, I must say that's massive. That's massive. I really enjoyed that session. Thank you very much for really going deep in IT helpdesk solution. It's very, very, very massive. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so impressed with that and that what you just shared with us in on SDP and Support Center Plus. So what I understood so far is that now with Support Center Plus, I can actually sell it to most of the IT services, IT servicing companies, such as the telecom sites, the likes of MTN, LTE, ISP that does manage their clients who want to they actually services their clients. So the client can actually send their customer can also send requests or query through their website and also through a service portal that is provided. So you can sell this solution to most the ISP, the telecoms, and also mobile device companies such as the Samsung, where you have the customers support center and department. You can also say that to them. So it's important that we know this, so we know where we can push this solution. Also, those companies that have after sales service, those are the companies that you look out for Support Center Plus. So in order not to waste much of our time, let me just dive into the next stage. So I'll be so brief in this this stage. So, like I said, what happened next is we actually just draw more like a flow chart showing our level of engagement with our clients. So these has been the way we've been engaging our client, and it's actually been so it's been working for us. We've been using it in-house, so we just feel that we should share it with our partners so that it can enhance easy sales to our partners. So for you to sell ManageEngine solution, these are the flow chart we've actually used and we've designed and we've used in-house and it has worked for us. The first level is for you to share a proposal on the solution, what ManageEngine can do, and what solution you are pushing. So you just while you're sharing the proposal, you must have reached out to the client, trying to know what they want to get, if it is Service Desk Plus or Support Center Plus. So we have all these materials available. This is the white paper on Service Desk Plus, Support Center Plus, Desktop Central. All of these are available. Reach out to me. I will share it with you wherever you want to use it or share with your clients. So after that has been sent to the client, I believe the client will have to see what the solution is all about. So the client might want to request for a demo. So you can demo this solution to the client. Once that is done, the client sees that, okay, we'll find they are okay with the demo. They will want to go to the next level, which is the POC. But before doing all this, we advise that you use the deal registration portal. Go to our website, register this deal so that it will be secured. Why? The reason is, but for you to when you register this deal, you are also making me informed on what you are doing or the engagement you're having with the client, so that should anybody request of such opportunity, I would have known that somebody had registered this deal, and I will ensure that that is secured on the name of the partner that first registered the deal. So it's important that before you engage your client, ensure that you register your opportunity on the deal registration portal, just to ensure that this your opportunity actually is secured. And so, like I said, once you're done with the demo, the next engagement is for you to get the commercial, because by the time you've done demo, the client must have seen what they want. They would have given you a requirement of what they actually want to achieve. So if the client cannot really tell or gives what the count or the number of licenses that they want to get, we can also assist the client in doing that. We have a standard and a more like a default questionnaire that will pull out all the necessary requirement the client might want to go for. So I can share the questionnaire on each of these solutions to you. Then you share with the client and get what they want. Then with the requirement on the quotes that you're going to share with the client, that will now help you to know what you are looking at in the POC engagement with the client. So once the POC is done, we ensure that we do TOC a minimum of 30 days. So once this is actually done, the client would have seen how it works, would have used have a first level experience of the solution in the environment. So once that is done, you know that the client is satisfied. And also, like I said yesterday, why you engage your client on POC, you don't just go back and relax. Ensure that you visit your client daily or get feedback on what challenges they are encountering, why they are using the solution, or if they are satisfied using the solution. So once that is established, you know that by the end of the 30 days, what you should be expecting is for you to get PO from the client. So these are the engagement that we've done with our client, and it has really worked with us. So we want to encourage our partners to actually follow this engagement, so that you will know that by the end of the time by the time you've sold this solution, you will know that you actually have provided a solution, not that you just sold. There's a difference between you selling and profiling a solution to a client. So that is why it is important you follow these processes that we've designed in this flow chart. So once PO is done, you follow suit with your deployment, you complete your deployment. Then the next engagement is what? Cross-sell. You've sold the first solution, the ManageEngine solution. You can also sell other solutions. The good thing about ManageEngine solution is that you can actually integrate this solution with other suite of solutions. So you can upsell, you can cross-sell this solution. So you don't just sell one solution and feel that, okay, you've done with that client. No, it's your client. You have the opportunity of selling other solutions. Like my other colleagues said, they said you can integrate Service Desk with Up Manager, Desktop Center, and other management solutions. So we say that the client will not want to get this solution. So look at for this opportunity and see how you can spool out all the juicy milk that a particular client has. So you don't just relax when you close one deal. Look at how you can cross-sell or upsell in the client environment. So like I said earlier on, we have all the necessary material that is needed for you to close this, to sell ManageEngine solution. So just reach out to me at channel@tranta-it.com, or reach out to my personal email, henry.agbonze@tranta-it.com. Then I will share all the necessary requirements of things that you needed. So we have data sheet on all the solution, flyers, brochure. We have demo link and also overview of these videos that will be shared to all the registered partners, all that registered for this webinar. So just be rest assured that you have all this. You might not have it today, but at the end of the webinar, we're going to send all the videos and all the material that is needed to you. So at this point, we just want to look at the Q&A session of this webinar. So I will just be working with my colleague here to ensure that we create this as fast as we can, because we are far beyond time. So the first question we have here is from Mr. Ayodeji. He said, can ManageEngine solution be sold in packaging company? Yes. I can actually attest to that. We've sold that to so many packaging companies. The most important thing is that does this client has an endpoint in their environment, which is the computer, the server. So once they have that in their environment, it is very, very clear that you can sell ManageEngine solution. And also the service desk clause that we just discussed can be sold to all organizations, depending on how big it is. So that determines the number of counts or the edition that they'll be looking at. Also what they're trying to achieve, the number of assets or the number of technicians too. That determines the count of the license. So it can be sold in all organizations. So from Mr. Shinedu, he said, so it means that despite all organization users, you can still have to engage a dedicated staff to manage the ManageEngine. I don't know if you can answer this question from Mr. Shinedu this way.
Actually, I think I can't see the question on my page here.
Okay, so what he was saying is, yes, it's on the Q&A session.
Q&A.
Yes, what she was saying is that
Okay.
Doesn't mean that you're going to have a dedicated staff managing ManageEngine solution. I don't think that's it's fine. So long you have
no. That's not true. Yeah. Okay. To answer the question, you don't actually require a dedicated technician because the process can be automated. For Service Express, for example, once the ticket comes in, it can be automatically routed to the appropriate person. All the person will get is a notification that says a particular ticket has been assigned to you. Once you see that, you attend to the issue, then you come to the application to close it or resolve or append resolution to the ticket. So you don't need to actually be the one to also be managing or looking out for what is happening or the events that are actually happening. You don't actually do that, except for cases where organizations actually want to have a point of contact to sit on the application. That is where that actually comes in.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Lawrence. Okay, so we'll go to the next question, which is what's the cost of the professional edition of ManageEngine? Okay, so Mr. Chinedu, you can reach out to me directly on my emails, channel@tranta-it.com or henry.agbonze. I will then I can respond to you on this. Though before professional edition of Service Desk Plus actually does more of the IT decks and also asset management. So, and that implies is that SDP is licensed based on the number of technicians and not the number of nodes. Nodes has to do with the number of assets in the client environment, and the asset could be the number of computers in that client environment. So if you want to get the required costing for a professional edition of Service Desk Plus, then you should know the number of technicians in that client environment and the number of the nodes, which is the number of computers as stated earlier. Is there further training for reseller? Yes, we have more training that is slated for this year. Also, if you need a training on any of these solutions, you can reach out to me, then we can have a date. And so we engage you on any of the training that you want to have. So the next question here is also from Mr. Chinedu. Give an organization that can run this solution. I just said earlier on that the telecoms, that is the telecommunication company, the Airtel, MTN, and SpectraNet. Okay, SpectraNet is currently using it. We have any company that does IT services, IT servicing, or any company that does after-sales servicing, or any company that always want to get a feedback from their clients, their customers. So this solution is best for them. And we have so many of them that are using this solution. So also the mobile device company too does this, because after you get the phones, you might have some queries or some issues that you want to, you might want to go to the website and raise those queries, so which becomes a ticket on their own part. So those are the companies that you should be looking at. So servicing company, let me put it in general, those are the companies that can actually treat, you can sell this solution to. So why the service desk plus can be sold to all organizations, so long you have technicians in that environment, there's a computer in that environment, and you feel that you want to ease the work of the CIOs, or you want to ease the work of the head of technical. So those are the people that are sitting on the solution, that are sitting on the IT department. So they want to use this tool to ease their work, and also do see how their staff and their IT staff are actually working, and if they are following you can also approach their team. Using this solution. So that's what those are the areas where you can sell this solution. That's from Mr. Chinedu. So it means that despite organization, you can still engage a dedicated. No, I think we've treated that. Okay, a customer. What application competes with this in the market? Okay, so there are so many, we have so many applications that compete with Service Desk Plus in the market. But the good thing is that when you go to the Gartner rating, ManageEngine Service Desk Plus is at the top most when it comes to the Gartner rating. That is why we've actually gotten more of this sales, SDP being closed by most of the blue chip company. So as I speak right now, most of the big banks that you know about, you actually know, I wouldn't want to mention them, are actually using this solution. So you can use that as a reference when you want to sell to your clients. So the big banks that you know in this country, they are all using, like I said earlier in the slide that we have covered almost about 74%, or if not now, currently it's about 80% of the banks in Nigeria that are using Service Desk Plus. So it's a solution that everybody wants to use in their environment. And also that implies is that why is using the solution, it is secured for these banks to be using it, meaning that it's a secure solution. So a customer has Dynamos needs this app. So I wouldn't know if what that implies. Maybe the lawyers can assist in that. Said
about Dynamo, do you mean a solution named Dynamo or Dynatrix?
That's we don't know.
Require clarification there. I don't know if more clarity can be provided.
Okay. Let's just dive into the next question.
Dynatrix. So if you are referring to Dynatrix, definitely it can be integrated with Dynatrix to send out notification. That's Dynatrix, which is a monitoring tool to send out notification when incident occurs on that platform to be raised as a ticket. However, it has to be the cloud version of Dynatrix for that to actually happen. So you can go ahead and say it.
Okay. So the next question is from Mr. Yodidi. He said, I have some prospects I want to sell ManageEngine to. Can I get a proposal? Okay, so like I said earlier on, you can reach out to me on my email. Send a mail to me on the solution that you want to push to your client, and I will respond to you as fast as you want it. Okay, from Mr. Sinenji. How can we sell Support Center Plus to a law enforcement agency? Can this be integrated with a voice contact center. Is it a voice contact center or a call center? A call center. That's what you're looking at. If it is a call center, yes, it can be integrated with the call center support. That's for the support center.
Telephony option, yes. Okay.
Yeah, the phone option can be integrated. So we can actually sell it to any of these law enforcement agents. So what you just need to do is for us to reach out to me, then we can strategize a meeting and see what, actually it's been corrected. He said it's call center. Yes, you can sell that to a call center agent. Yes, it can be integrated to a call center. So just reach out to me. Let's have a discussion on how we can go about this law enforcement agent, and we'll see how we can close this. Okay, so Mr. Ayodeji, I'm going to share my email right in this. I'm going to share my email in the next few minutes. Okay, Mr. Valentine said, in change management, what is the difference between rollout plan and blackout plan?
Okay. I was just typing a response to that, Mr. Valentine. So it simply means the original plan itself. How do you intend to go about it? For example, you intend to change your mail from a particular ISP, from a particular mail service provider to service provider B. How do you intend to go about this, your plan? This is actually the rollout plan. You need to tick box A, you need to do this, you need to migrate your mailbox from this to this point, you need to do a backup and this like. This is actually your rollout plan, how you intend to go about it. However, if this plan does not work, what would be our fallback to? What would be the point that we're actually resolving back to? This is actually the backup plan. So this is actually the difference between the rollout plan and the backup plan under change management.
Okay, so Lawrence, Mr. Oluwaseyi said, how do you assign higher priority on some items over others in terms of incident reporting?
Okay, under the incident management, for priority configuration, it actually allows for you to have priority to be configured based on what an organization actually considers as high priority. However, with the new feature that you actually have from the solution now, which is called priority matrix, you can actually put in two information such as the impact and the urgency. So you can do impact plus urgency to determine the priority. So if the impact would be affecting an individual and the urgency is high or low medium, what is that meant to equate as? So this is actually another way to go about how priority are actually allocated. Also, you can actually go the manual route, which is actually not best practices. You can also go to the manual route of doing allowing the users to actually pick priority, although this is most times not advisable. But if you are adopting the ways that I've mentioned, it can actually be done and it can actually be configured on the application. That some some issues are actually assigned priority based on the severity they actually cause. Let me give you a practical example. If a server within a banking organization that is actually a core banking application should go down, we actually know that that is actually a very severe issue, or is about to go down. It has reached 90% utilization. This is actually a very, very severe issue to the bank. So by default, it has been configured that this set of servers, if they should go down, they have high priority in terms of resolution. Definitely during the configuration phase, this would have been put in place. And once those tickets, those issues are raised, it would have high priority allocated to them.
Okay, thank you for that, Lawrence. Okay, so the next question is for Mr. Dre. Can the application be integrated to other existing applications as need arise? So I think in this question, you just have to specify the application you're talking about.
Yes.
That's what you look at. Okay, so
yeah. At the moment,
go ahead, please.
Okay, Mr. Henry, 1 minute. So at the moment, we actually have some pre-configured applications that can actually integrate with. For example, Microsoft Outlook can actually be integrated with Service X Plus Cloud. It can actually be integrated with AD Azure and the like. So these are actually some pre-configured that are actually been tested and actually in place at the moment. But if you actually have some list of applications that you want to know if it can be integrated with, then we have to look at or explore the option of the API integration. And also you have to mention the data that you wish to actually transfer in between the two applications. Mr. Henry, you can go ahead, sir. So while Harry
okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so from Mr. Shea, he said asset management modules is necessary to. Okay, so why asset? Why is saying that is asset management module necessary to be bought as a standalone when you have Desktop Central and you have Desktop Central? So he was trying to compare the asset module in Desktop Central and that of Service Desk Plus. So you can just do that fast. So you're going behind time.
Okay, to quickly respond to that, there are two different solutions which have different functionalities, although similars in some way. But Desktop Central is actually very, very robust in terms of inventory management, while asset management module is actually the ideal part of MTech solution, which aims at just managing inventories. You want to have an inventory within your organization. So an organization that wants to just do ticketing and have an inventory of assets that you actually have within the organization, you want to do software license management, they are actually advisable to go for that. While organizations that are looking at going further to do software deployment, patch management, and the likes would definitely be opting for the option of Desktop Central.
Okay, so Lawrence, Mr. Valentine is asking that is in incident management, if the technician and admin can raise a ticket for the users, is there audit trail?
Yes, there is. For every ticket that is raised, it's actually appended who raised the ticket itself. So, for example, if I, as a technician, is raising it, I would put the requester, and also it's going to show that the ticket was actually raised by this particular person whose name is on the ticket. So it's also going to show that. And for every, for example, for every edit that goes on or activity that goes on within the ticket itself, there's actually a tab called the history tab that keeps all these activities in check.
In project management modules of SDP, is there a standalone unit? I guess that comes with the enterprise edition. No,
yeah, that comes with the enterprise edition. You can't stand alone, yeah.
You just have to go for the enterprise edition. So I think that's all for now. I don't know if there's any other one. Let me go to the chat. Okay. Lawrence, I think we are actually far behind time, so we'll ensure that you can drop your questions on my emails so that we can just tweet them. So at this point, I want to use this opportunity to thank everyone that joined this webinar. We are very, very impressed with the turnout. And also, I want to thank my colleague here, Lawrence, that they actually anchored this webinar. So I want you to reach out to me on my email. Go to Henry, HENRYI, Henry at henry.agbonzi@transit.com. Then you can send in your question, or you place a call my number directly, 0703 535 220423. 070-35220423. So you can call me directly for your questions, then I will be glad to respond accordingly. So thank you very much. Thank you for everyone that took the time out to join us in this webinar. We want to ensure that you join us for the next the last series of this webinar tomorrow. That will be on 8360. So I don't want you to miss that. That's very, very, very key.